Right now at 5:30 on WKYT this morning, Kentucky State Police trying to figure out exactly what led up to a deadly crash in Whitley County. We've got more on that ahead.
Also on WKYT this morning, we are staying on top of a road closure this morning on a busy Lexington roadway. Could impact your commute through the day. We'll have the story just ahead.
Police still trying to track down an inmate who they say walked away from a Lexington prison.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. So good to have you with us on WKYT, Tuesday, July 26th. Here we go. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith, and someone was saying about 2 weeks until a lot of the Fayette County school kids back in school.
Several of our districts, some of them are starting next week, actually, and then some as we get into August, they start ticking off, getting ready to go back to school. So enjoy the summer while it's here. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris. It's going to be summer in all of its glory today.
That is for sure. Yeah, you're going to be warm, you'll be humid. There's no doubt about that. Everybody gets in on that action. However, not everybody gets in on the rain, but it's still a pretty decent shot in the forecast of hit and miss showers and thunderstorms. There's the look outside. A little fog issue here and there, so just keep that in mind with the rain from yesterday, clearing of the skies in some zones. But once we hit the afternoon, the clouds will start to appear once again, and look for those showers and thunderstorms to increase in the forecast. Now, that's not only for today. We have a pretty wet pattern in store. Are we looking at severe weather? Are we just looking at heavy rain? We're going to get into that, and I'll really dive deep into your rainfall totals coming up.
We'll see you shortly. Thank you.
Kentucky State Police trying to figure out exactly this morning what led up to a deadly crash in Whitley County.
They say a car hit two people on Highway 895 near Williamsburg. WKYT's Mark Barber is at our live desk with the latest details. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Bill. And so far this morning, investigators are releasing very little information about this crash that killed one person and injured another. We have learned the driver who crashed into the two pedestrians took off after the crash, but later turned around and came back. There's no word yet on whether that driver will face any charges. The coroner has not released the name of the person who was killed. The crash happened on Highway 895 near Highway 204 around 6 o'clock yesterday evening. Investigators say the first person died at the scene and the second person was rushed to the hospital. The sheriff does not know how badly the survivor is hurt. State police have now taken over that investigation. This morning we're putting calls into them, working to get more information about this deadly crash that killed one person and injured another there on Highway 895 in Whitley County. From the live desk, Mark Barber, WKYT.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. We have a traffic alert to pass along this morning that will impact many drivers in Lexington today.
Part of Man o' War Boulevard in Hamburg will be closed for several hours today. WKYT's Mike Byer is live in details. Good morning.
Good morning, Rebecca. If you normally take Winchester Road to Man o' War Boulevard, you're going to have to take a slight detour today. Southbound Man o' War will be closed to traffic from Winchester Road. The closure will go in effect at 9 this morning, lasting until 3 this afternoon for pavement repairs. Those driving on Winchester Road during this time frame will not be able to turn left or right onto Man o' War. Northbound traffic will be moved to the southbound lane through the work zone. As a result, the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet recommends us using Polo Club Boulevard to access Man o' War. This isn't the only road project going on today. Also from 9 until 3, the right southbound lane of I-75 will be closed at the Fayette-Madison County line. There, workers will be inspecting the Clays Ferry Bridge, and the on-ramps from inbound and outbound Versailles Road to the outer loop of New Circle Road will be closed from 10 tonight until 5 tomorrow morning. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet wants to thank the public for their patience during these closures. Live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
All right, thank you. An investigation's underway after police found a dead man in a Lexington home. Neighbors called police to complain about a strong smell coming from the home on Ross Avenue off West 3rd Street. Inside, investigators say they found a badly decomposed body. The coroner says the man could have been dead for up to 3 to 4 days. His name hasn't been released. At this point, investigators are not sure exactly how that man died.
Two people facing charges in 5 states have been arrested in Madison County. The Madison County Sheriff's Office says they and U.S. Marshals served warrants on Becky Calhoun and Shawan Parks. Authorities arrested Calhoun after a 2-hour standoff at a home on Keystone Drive in Richmond. Deputies say Parks was not at the scene and he later turned himself in. Although officers say the standoff was peaceful, neighbors say it was still a scary scene.
Especially when you have young kids and you come out and see all these police cars and police officers with their guns out. It's really a fear factor because you really don't know who lives next door, even across the street from you.
Police say both of the suspects racked up multiple charges over a 7-month span. And they face charges in Kentucky for theft and some other offenses. And police tell us they both have pending charges in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and Tennessee.
A central Kentucky woman continues to battle a serious head injury she suffered in Europe. Family members of Laura Babbage said she was riding a bike in France at the time. She's the wife of former state auditor and Secretary of State Bob Babbage. Her family is at her side in France, but back here in Lexington, about 100 people gathered last night to pray for Laura.
She's probably one of the most special people in our community. Everybody loves Laura Babbage. She just radiates happiness and love for everyone, and that's why we're all here.
Bob Babbage has asked for prayers from the community, saying that it is the best thing anybody can do for his wife right now, to keep them in their prayers. Bob has used social media to give an update on Laura. In his last post, he said she has shown little signs of progress.
5:36 on WKYT this morning. Police are still trying to track down an inmate who they say walked away from a Lexington prison. The Kentucky Department of Corrections says Clyde Rader walked away from the Blackburn Correctional Complex early yesterday morning. He is serving a 64-year sentence for charges that include robbery and burglary. Investigators say Rader also walked away from Blackburn back in 1997. People who live nearby say something needs to be done to stop the walkaways.
We get frustrated because many times these are repeat offenders, people who are put in the country club, as we call it, and who are there for a while, then they escape, then they're caught, then they're back and forth.
Police say Rader was wearing a white T-shirt and khakis when he walked away.
An eastern Kentucky judge says a jail has a drug problem, so he's sending some of the inmates to another jail. Court documents show 8 inmates at the Three Forks Regional Jail in Beattyville recently failed drug tests. Investigators think inmates are getting drugs while on work release and hiding them in body cavities. Until they get inside the jail. During a hearing, a Breathitt County judge said the jail's not doing enough to keep drugs out of there.
Drugs are getting into that facility, and it's your job to keep them out.
The jail says they're doing as many drug tests as possible there. The judge ruled to move Breathitt and Wolfe County inmates at Three Forks to another jail, but it's not clear which one that will be.
New on WKYT this morning, a Bell County woman says she was attacked at a party, and the video of the assault was posted on Snapchat. Lauren Hopper has scratch marks and bruises to show after a night of partying turned violent. Deputies were called to the Stony Fork Kettle Island area after that video showed an assault. Hopper says a dozen men and women held her down, punched her, tied her up with a rope, and threw her over an embankment. And then they posted it on Snapchat.
Just mad, horrifically mad that they thought it was funny, that they hurt another human being that way.
Deputies say when they arrived on scene, they found about 30 people at the party, many of them underage. They say they have a copy of the video. They are investigating, but it will take some time to figure out what all went on. So far, no arrests have been made. The federal trial of Paintsville Mayor Bob Porter was scheduled to start today, but it has now been delayed. The trial has been pushed back until September 21st. A federal grand jury indicted Porter and former Paintsville Utilities Commission General Manager Larry Harold for theft of government property. Investigators say Porter did not pay for more than $7,000 for utility services at his homes. Harold pleaded guilty in April.
University of Louisville trustees have scheduled a special meeting for today. At the top of their agenda, Campus President James Ramsey's offered to resign. This is the board's 3rd meeting since its formation last month. Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin disbanded the former board amid turmoil over Ramsey. Bevin is facing a lawsuit challenging his authority to remove the board. Louisville International Airport is adding some new nonstop flights. The airline OneJet is now offering a weekday nonstop flight to Pittsburgh. In October, OneJet will also provide direct flights to Kansas City, Missouri and Raleigh, North Carolina. The airline fares are about $50 to $100 more because of the convenience of avoiding layovers. OneJet joins Delta, United, Southwest and American Airlines at Louisville's airport.
Here in Lexington, those with questions about the Zika virus can turn to social media tomorrow for some answers. UK entomology professor Grayson Brown is hosting a Twitter town hall. That'll be tomorrow afternoon from 2 until 3 o'clock. He'll be taking questions about Zika. He has more than 40 years of experience working with mosquitoes and their ability to spread disease.
For the people who are on the receiving end, it's very beneficial because they get precise answers to their specific questions.
Brown says the live question and answer session is meant to be informative, but more importantly, accessible. We have the hashtag that you need to use and what accounts you need to follow to be a part of the Twitter town hall on our website, WKYT.com.
Well, here's another option for you if you're looking for a place to work out. Construction of a new YMCA in Lexington is making progress. Officer Don flew over the site in sky first. The 62,000 square foot Y is being built on Old Rosebud Road in Hamburg. It's expected to open up this fall. The YMCA is now selling charter memberships. Those allow members early access to the facility before it opens up to the public. If you're interested in that, in joining the Hamburg Y, we have information on our website, WKYT.com.
All right, a lot of excitement for that on the east side of the city especially. All right, 2 teens out riding four-wheelers in southern Kentucky. Did they ever come across a big surprise?
Big is the word. A 54-inch timber rattlesnake. Chris Garner took a picture of the snake in Monticello and says it is the second rattler he's seen in 2 days. Workers at the Kentucky Reptile Zoo say timber rattlesnakes are extremely laid back. Laid back for a snake. And that trying to catch one or kill one puts you more at risk. They're one of just a handful of the venomous snakes found in Kentucky. I think when they mean laid back, they mean literally laid back in a shade tree.
I think what they mean is
ready to strike.
Let them be, I think is something.
Yeah. Translation, right? Laid back, don't mess with them.
You got it. Coming up on 542 on WKYT this morning, and let's see what's happening out there with live drive traffic this morning. And you can see that it is an easy ride into Lexington right now from all of the surrounding areas. No reports of any problems out of Nicholasville, Versailles, Paris, Winchester, Richmond, all good times there out there on the interstates right now.
Here's a look at the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government's live drive cam at Man o' War and Todd's Road. Again, another reminder that the southbound Man o' War lanes will be closed to traffic from Winchester Road from 9 o'clock this morning until 3 this afternoon. They're doing some work there.
Yeah, over to the interstate. For those who've been around a while, that's the section they used to call Bryant Road before that was changed to Man o' War. So.
Bryant Road, interesting.
Yeah, right. There's still a section of Bryant Road, but it's back on Plotty Place now. 542 on WKYT this morning.
Man, I always learn something new with you every day, Bill.
There you go.
Firefighters rushed to the rescue, and 8 baby ducks were found in a storm drain. Oh, I'm going to show you the adorable video when we come back.
And it doesn't look very impressive right now, but you can still see some storms are out there, out and about, at least.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
70 degrees right now in London. I do want to show you this. The only problem we have this morning, you see the lights off in the distance, is hitting a little fog. And there's some patchy fog here and there. It's not widespread. But just keep that in mind. The good news here is there's no rain falling there on the roadways, no rain falling on your car or you as you walk out the door early this morning. Now, as we continue to watch around the region, there's bits and pieces. See that sparking up southern Ohio and also northern portions of Tennessee. It's all around us, and there is a front right over us. It's literally draped across our region, and it was just like that yesterday that we're going to be seeing more showers and thunderstorms. Bits and pieces. Look at some of the heavy rainfall totals just from the past 24 hours. 2 inches in portions of Jessamine County. Go up towards, say, Frankfort and work your way back towards Shelby, Spencer County. Right around 1 inch to about 1.5 inches, and then you work your way down toward, say, Bell County, Knox County. Even portions of Whitley County were holding on to 2.2 inches of rain in the past 24 hours in that spot. But there are still some spots that didn't even see rain. I mean, look at the southern portions of Taylor County. Go up towards, say, northern portions of Scott, off into Cynthiana. I mean, there were some spots that did not see rain yesterday. And that just shows you it's very hit and miss. If you do get hit by this, you're talking about some heavy rain falling. But if you do not, it's warm, it's humid, muggy, whatever way to kind of put it. But that front will stay with us throughout the next few days. And that means on and off showers and thunderstorms all week long. Heavy rain, lightning, strong winds. That's our main threat. But the main focus out of all the severe weather is going to be flash flooding. That's going to be the threat that will be on the increase, because any spot that does pick up that 1-2 inches of rain in one day, and then the following day you get the same thing again, well, then you're talking about that flash flooding threat increasing dramatically. So you just got to keep in mind, rolling across the region toward the afternoon hours, evening hours, that's your best bet. Morning hours, really not a good chance of rain on any of these days. Here's the rainfall forecast through Friday. 1 to 2 inches for most, some a little bit higher than that. But this just takes the overall picture of what we can expect. This doesn't take the kind of micro scale that we're really looking for when we start to see those rainfall totals adding up very quickly. So some spots could pick up 2 inches in just 2 to 3 hours. I mean, we really got to watch it closely with a lot of this moisture hanging around. And you know this, when you get off into summer, you got the heat, you got the moisture, and those are perfect ingredients to fire up some thunderstorms, especially if you have a front over you. Thursday still looks like the best chance of rain in the forecast. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, pretty decent shots too. Guys, there's really not a day in the forecast that I could say almost all of us will be dry. I would say Thursday, southern zones, that's your best bet. But still, for the most part, we have at least a chance of rain. So trying to plan, it's kind of hard with this type of setup.
I'll say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can be out there, all of a sudden you hear the rumble, right?
That's right. You better run indoors.
Be ready.
Sure.
All right, 5:49 right now. A hunt for some coffee and Pikachu led to the rescue of some ducklings up in Rochester, New York.
Well done, Bill. 2 men searched for Pokemon led them to finding 8 real-life ducklings. They say they heard the ducklings in a sewer drain, then went to get them help. Firemen rushed to the rescue, opening the bolted grate and climbing into the drain. Look how cute they are. It's thought that the ducklings were in the drain for days before they were rescued. So glad they're okay. The baby ducks have been taken to an animal hospital where they will be treated and then released. But officials say the ducklings are doing okay, which is great news.
All right, the story ends well. This happens a lot, you know.
I'm glad to see when the Pokemon search leads to a good story.
Good.
Yeah.
And once in a while it does, obviously.
Yes.
And we're glad you're with us this morning. Coming up on 5:50 now, 10 till 6 on your Tuesday morning.
Coming up, you'll get the stories making news right now.
We'll be checking traffic again. We have some health news for you, and our top stories are on the way. And we're so glad you're with us here on WKYT this morning. Good morning. Welcome back in. WKYT This Morning is on the air at 5:53. Bright and early. Hop to it on your Tuesday.
Yeah, or try at least.
Exactly.
Let's take a look right now at some of the stories we're working on for you at this hour.
In the news, in Whitley County, state police are trying to figure out what has led up to a deadly crash. They say a car hit 2 people on Highway 895 near Williamsburg. The coroner says 1 person died at the scene. The Whitley County Sheriff says the 2nd person was taken to the hospital. We do not know that person's condition this morning. We don't know the names of the victims at this point.
Kentucky's U.S. Senate candidates are gearing up for their campaigns ahead of the annual Fancy Farm Picnic. Senator Rand Paul is hosting town meetings today in Corbin and Harlan, and Lexington Mayor Jim Gray will talk at the Pike County Courthouse at 11 this morning. He's unveiling his plan to help Kentucky's coal communities. Hillary Clinton is set to become the first female presidential nominee of a major party today, the 2nd day of the Democratic National Convention.
On a rocky first day at the DNC, Bernie Sanders urged disappointed supporters to back Clinton, while First Lady Michelle Obama, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, and others made pleas for party unity. Former President and possible First Gentleman Bill Clinton will be addressing the convention tonight, along with mothers who lost their children to gun violence.
Fire crews in California are still working to contain a massive wildfire burning north of Los Angeles. The so-called sand fire has scorched more than 35,000 acres so far and forced thousands of people from their homes. Hot and dry conditions have been fueling the fire.
Overseas, people in Japan are mourning following the nation's worst mass murder since World War II. A 26-year-old man has turned himself in after stabbing more than a dozen people to death at a home for the mentally disabled outside of Tokyo. Officials say the suspect once worked at the facility.
A new study suggests fears about catching Zika virus at the Olympics may be exaggerated.
Yale researchers found only up to 3 dozen people out of thousands, that is hundreds of thousands actually, who are headed for Brazil may become infected, and that travel to Rio would not play a significant role in the international spread of the virus. Scientists say they used a math model that took into account recent Zika cases in Rio, weather conditions, and travel patterns. Harvard researchers say inducing labor does not appear to increase the risk for autism in children. Doctors looked at more than 1 million births in Sweden, and they found induced babies were no more likely to develop autism than siblings born naturally.
Let's get a check right now on today's traffic trouble spots with a look at live drive traffic.
See what's going on. We do have a few things to tell you about this morning in terms of some delays because of construction possible. First, a look at the region this morning, and as you can see there, things are looking good on I-75 and I-64. They are going to be working on the Clays Ferry Bridge this afternoon, so anticipate lane closures in that area about 9 to 3, we're being told, for that work today. Then the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government's live drive cam. This is at Richmond Road and Man of War.
Yeah, remember that southbound Man of War will be closed to traffic from Winchester Road from 9 this morning until 3 in the afternoon.
All right, we want to check weather. We're going to be carefully watching that as well today. It's one of those things where things might happen suddenly in your day.
You're exactly right. Once you start hearing that thunder, here comes some thunderstorms are rolling across the region. Heavy downpours, number one, is going to be our main threat. Lightning, here comes possible strong winds. Now, it's just like yesterday where severe weather is not likely, but we can't rule out a stray severe cell. It's mainly calm this morning, but it's a hit and miss by the afternoon. We're going to talk all about that. Go over those traffic issues again. Another hour of WKYT News in just a couple of minutes.